Weeks ago, there was a match between Kumasi, Asante, and Hearts of Oak. Some fans took the laws into their own hands and broke chairs at the stadium. These are small facilities we've got to use for our sports, and these are the little facilities we have. Fans are breaking them. You asked Hearts of Oak to pay for the damage caused by their supporters. Have they paid?
Actually, it's not only Hearts of Oak that we've asked to pay. I think somewhere late last month, we had a letter from Accra Hearts of Oak and Kumasi Asante Kotoko requesting for the venue to be used for a friendly encounter between the two teams. And so I asked them to write officially. So they wrote, according to them, when they gave me the letter, they said because Accra Hearts of Oak was in Accra, they met me in Accra, and so they agreed between themselves that the letter, since Accra Hearts of Oak is around, they could use Accra Hearts of Oak letter to write the request, to make the request for the release of the stadium for the use of that purpose. So they brought me the letter. I spoke with my regional director. We agreed that the facility be used for the purpose intended, apparently. And partly because we agree, because the FIFA and government were in talk for the formation of this normalization committee. So we thought that we could assist them to keep enthusiasm into the local football. So we released the stadium for them. The first match went well. The second one was on the 2nd of this month. That was where the problem happened. And so immediately I spoke to the two teams, the organizers, and I told them that they were going to be surcharged. They were going to pay for the destroyed seats. So we have to count them. And we did counted them. We had 275. They agreed, but with some objection, because they thought that the number of seats that were destroyed could not amount to the 275. So we said, well, we have done the counting. If you disagree with the figure, we have asked our people not to tamper with the seats destroyed. They should just leave it. So they sent their local rep in Kumasi. They went and met my people in Kumasi. They went into the stadium. They counted the seats destroyed, and they realized that we were giving them the correct figure. So we wrote officially to the two teams. After we have asked a company to give us a quotation for the seats. So the company wrote to us officially, because initially they said that they could not give us the figure until they contact their partners in Italy. So they got the information, they wrote to us, and we put a covering letter to both teams, Accra Hearts of Oak and Kumasi Asante Kotoko. Last week or two, I received a delegation from the Accra Hearts of Oak, led by its chief executive officer. They met me to deliberate on the letter that we have given them. And so I explained to them why we think that both teams should pay. And I even went further to tell them that moving forward, no match will be played in any of our facility without an agreement, be it Galka organized match, friendly match, or the normalization teams. Whoever is organizing it, we have to have an agreement with the person. If anything is destroyed, how it will be replaced. So we have drafted our agreement. So if you notice, the last match between Kumasi Asante Kotoko and Ashanti Goldfield, they signed an agreement with us, committing themselves that if anything happened, they were going to be responsible. So we are looking at not the participating teams, but the organizers. And that is the reason why we asked the two teams to pay. The total cost was 38,500, and we passed it on to them.
So they haven't paid yet?
Well, when they came, they agreed in principle that yes, they will pay, because I made them to understand that what is in the court is the criminal aspect of it. The court is dealing with the criminal nature of the problem that occurred on the 7th of September, because those guys who were arrested were found to be destroying state properties.
So just a quick clarification. The 38,500 cedis, did you divide it into two for the clubs to pay?
I've made it known to them that is the total cost of the destroyees. So if we have to replace, the club will have to do the needful.
Okay, we were told that you asked Asante Kotoko to pay before they can use the facility against Ashgrove.
We asked them to commit themselves that should, in case anything happen, they will be responsible. We didn't ask them to pay, but we've given them an agreement form that they should sign and commit themselves that if there's any problem in the course of the match and any property of the state is destroyed, they will be responsible.
Did you give them a timeline as to when you want them to pay them for the damage cost? Or you ask them to go and replace them themselves?
Our interest is to replace it, but I've made them to understand that until they replace it, we will not allow them to use the facility. Not only the Kumasi one, any of our facilities that they want to use, we will not allow them to use it.
But Kotoko used it against Ashgrove?
No, we are looking at the organizers.
Okay,
not,
so now,
yes.
so now you are dealing with the organizers,
yes,
and not the individual clubs?
Not the individual clubs. We are not looking at the individual. We don't want to zero it into the people. So if, for example, last week or so, I had a delegation from Galka telling me that they want to, they have support from Star Times and they want to organize marches around. So I told them that, yes, we can allow you, but it means that you'll be responsible for the organization, and so we'll have to have an agreement with you. If any of our property is destroyed, we know Galka, and not the teams that are involved.
This is a very brilliant thing you people are putting before the clubs. But I just want a quick clarification on the club's issues again. You mentioned that Hearts of Oak were here with their chief executive officer, and then you explained to them about the letter you sent to them and all that. Who were the organizers of the match, and the Hearts of Oak had to front and come to your office?
Kotoko was represented by Mr. Edmond Aka.
Okay.
And then, sorry, Hearts of Oak was represented by Alhaji Akambi. Yes. So they represented the two clubs.
So these two people are the organizers, right?
Yes, so they are the organizers.
In the books of NSA, are they the organizers?
Yes, they signed the letter. I have the letter here. Even though it was on the letterhead of the Accra Hearts of Oak, but because they were the two teams were responsible, the Kotoko rep in Accra delivered the letter to me. Okay,
so what is NSA doing to ensure that Akambi and then Mr. Edmond Aka pays the money?
Well, my understanding is that they represented the two clubs. Yes. And so the two clubs, we are asking the two clubs through the individuals who represented them, because they were acting for and on behalf of the clubs.
Will you give them an ultimatum to replace these things before league football returns to the country?
That is what because the stadium has to be put in shape before the league starts. So that's what we are looking at. The stadium needs to be refurbished, and all the seats are replaced before the league starts.
Okay, will NSA replace them and then pick their money from them?
We don't intend to do that. We want to hold the people responsible and make sure that not only do they want to replace it, moving forward, they have to have an agreement and a deposit. A deposit will have to be given to us for safekeep, so that in case there's any damage to any of the state property that they are using, they will forfeit the deposit.
How much do you usually charge them to use the facility?
So when they are playing league matches, for example, the FA, now the normalization, will be the organizers. And so what will happen is that close the door. Don't let anybody come. What will happen is that there's normally a laid down procedure that governs how funds realized are shared. And that has been the practice over the period. But you'll notice that this particular one, because of the break of the football, and then when they were coming to play, they actually make a special request for us. And we considered that. They thought that we should give it to them, not applying the standing rules governing league matches. But they make a special request that whatever they realize, they will give us 10% for the purposes of maintenance. You know, when they are going to play a football match, we have to maintain the pitch and do the markings and everything. We have to organize our laborers to come and be on the field throughout the day and during and after the match. So sanitation, janitorials, we have to provide all those things. So they requested, a special request was made that they will give us 10% for purposes of that. So we agree because we wanted to assist them to whip enthusiasm into the local games. Yes.
Okay, Director, finally, just before we wrap up the conversation on this issue, I've realized that there's this perception out there that any club that wants to use a state facility, they pay the NSA. For instance, I can quote from certain clubs, like say, Hearts of Oak can go like they pay 15,000 cedis for using the Accra Sports Stadium weekly. Kotoko can say we pay 10,000, 15,000 for using the Baba Yara Sports Stadium. So this is a perception we all know out there. But today you're telling me there's an agreement between the clubs where funds realized during a game is being shared. Is this a wrong perception people have out there?
Completely wrong. Because they don't know.
Or is the club feeding us wrong?
Well, I don't know where they are getting the perception from and who is putting out there. But the rules are that we have a laid down procedure because if it is a league match, for example, a percentage go to GFA or FA. Yes, a percentage come to NSA, a percentage for maintenance of the facility. So all these things are factored, and those things are done after the cost of printing ticket is taken, then VAT is also taken. So all these things are laid down. Everybody knows it. So it is not that a certain amount is paid for NSA to allow the participating teams to use the facility. That's not the case.
But would NSA consider that before you use our stadium, you pay 20,000 cities, 15,000 cities, 30,000 cities?
In fact, that is where we are going to. And we have set up a committee to look at all these things. And that is why we are coming out with this agreement sort of or conditions before we release any of our facility for use. Because we have a mandate to develop sports, we need to support. So we cannot charge commercial rates, but we need to give them opportunity, and so we can also have something for purposes of maintenance. And that is the reason why we are putting these things in place. If we leave them, so they come and destroy, Hearts of Oak, Kotoko, they play, they destroy 250. Tomorrow, Asante goes, they play, they destroy 300, and it is not replaced. Eventually, NSA will be tagged as sitting down and running down the property of the state. Yeah, exactly. And so we don't want that to occur. We don't want people to have that feeling that we cannot manage the facility. Yes, we are supposed to be partners, so we'll give them opportunity, but we'll make sure that They use the facility and pay for the usage.
But do you rent it to other people? Let's say when they were organizing the Ghana at 16 March, let's say when a church wants to use the facility, do you rent it to them?
Yes, when a church wants to use the facility, yes, we rent that one to them, because that has nothing to do with sports development. And so we give it to them at commercial rate. But over the years, the place was in darkness, so it was difficult for us to rent it out, because most of the times their activities are in the night.
How much would you call the NSA to get the floodlights ready?
Oh, the construction ongoing is taking care of it. It was test run last Monday. Yes, so Honorable Minister was there. They test ran it for him to see that the floodlight is on. Okay,
that's working. I don't need to go for your meeting, but something just cropped to mind. I can remember in September, was it September 2017, there were these reports about how certain facilities were supposed to be maintained for the NSA and they were not done. And then there was a commitment of $2 million from Anglo Gold Asante for those facilities. Have you come across anything like that?
Yes, I think that was 2015. It started somewhere 2012 to 2015. Anglo Gold gave the authority $2 million to build out multi-purpose courts across the country. That was 2015. And so contracts were awarded and signed at the ministry. NSA was to make the payment. So the monies were transferred into the NSA accounts for purposes of payment. What we have done, what we did a cross-check, we checked some of the facilities have been completed. Some, about 40% of them have not been completed. And some of them has been paid, including those that have not been completed. So some have not even started the project and they have been paid. So what we did was that we invited the Auditor General to come in and audit the accounts. Just this Monday, we received a management letter from the Auditor General's department, and we are going through the management letter. We will write to the contractors concerned for their response, because we cannot on our own chase them to finish the. Some of them we can't even locate them.
That's actually interesting, but you have to go for a meeting. Those completed, where are they located?
So we have some in Takwa, we have some in Obuasi itself, we have some in Tamale, we have some here at the Accra Sports Stadium here, even in Kumasi and Legon. We have across the country. Yes. I
remember I was in your predecessor's office for a press conference when the story broke and all that, and they were saying they were going to recoup some of the money. Have you recouped any money?
That is the reason why we invited in the Auditor General Department to assist, because it was getting difficult for us to locate the contractors. And so we thought that they should come and locate and do an audit, thorough audit. So we asked them to visit. We give them the locations of all the facilities. They visited all the sites. And then we have a complete report, a formal report before us. Where we made a copy is given to the ministry, the board will be given a copy, management have a copy. We had a discussion on it as management. The board will also have to sit on it, and then a proper decision will be taken on behalf of the authority.
Thank you very much, Director.
Thank you.
Thanks for your time.
You're welcome. Thank you very much.